Morocco is set to host AFIS 2024, uniting African finance leaders in Casablanca to advance Pan-African collaboration for economic growth. The African Financial Industry Summit, AFIS, an influential gathering aimed at strengthening Africa's financial ecosystem, will be hosted in December 9 to 10 in Casablanca, Morocco, convening over 1,000 leaders in finance, including policymakers, regulators, top executives, to address structural reforms essential for boosting resilience and enhancing financing across the African economies. Joining us now is Amir Yahmed, Chief Executive Officer of AFIS. Great to have you, and it's good to see you again, with all of this great work you've been doing with AFIS and all the great and lovely initiative. The theme of this year is a new era, time to mobilize African financial power. It's both ambitious and significant. It's got implications. How does this reflect in the financial landscape across Africa as we speak today?
Thank you for the invitation. It's great to be here, as usual. The theme of this year speaks to both the challenges. We have a currently very difficult credit market. We have currency challenges. We have banks, international banks that have left. Most of the international banks have left our continent, and we have, in general, a very complicated global macro and political environment. So these are part of the challenge, but on this edition, we really would like to speak about the opportunities, hence the title, A New Era, Time to Mobilize Africa's Financial Power, because it's really a call for African financial leaders to modernize our industry, to give us the financing clout we need to gain economic sovereignty, and to talk about all the issues that are currently have obstacles to enable us to reach that target, among which we will talk about some of the key issues, working on interoperability between African countries, strengthening capital requirements to push for consolidation, creating more financial product to facilitate financial inclusion, and to push for better collaboration regarding trade, regarding capital markets. These are some of the issues that we need to collectively address to make the African financial industry a powerhouse and a strong actor in the financial order. That's going to be the main subject of this third edition.
Fantastic. Of course, several conversations are going to be had, and one of the flagship panels at AFIS will focus on African sovereign debt. So what can we expect from this session?
Yes, the issue of debt is quite important. As you know, the level of African debt has again risen to a very important level. It's one of the highest in decades. The cost of servicing debt is also one of the highest among various regions in the world. But we're going to try to focus on the widespread this widespread element that creates bias against African debt in general, mainly due to the rating agencies' position on African debt. If you look at African debt, basically we're around 70%, more or less, in various countries, and while in the US, while in the European environment, we're way above. Way above 100%, 120, 130 for some. So the question is not so much the level of debt. Of course, it's partly an issue, but it's also the cost of financing. There is a bias against Africa, where Africa is paying, in average, its debt around 10 to 12%, which is 2, 3, 4, 6 times higher than other regions, whether it's in Asia or South America. So we consider this issue of a bias against the African risk a real discussion that we need to push on the international market. Everybody is familiar with the various bankruptcies that Argentina has been through, and Argentina has probably a cost of borrowing that is twice, I mean, half what is Africa going through. So this is one of the main topic that we need to address, how we can lower this cost of financing. We have had a UN study that has assessed the cost of added risk in Africa at $17 billion. So that's the main issue, and we will have several panels who will be addressing this situation that needs a collective stance again from Africa to go on the international conferences to be able to have a main argument to try to correct that situation.
Well, in recent years, we seem to have witnessed the gradual retreat of European banking groups from the African banking sector. How should we interpret this gradual exodus? And is it an opportunity for the emergence and strengthening of new African banking players at a time when there's just a lot happening geopolitically?
Yes, of course we will, but we will have to address or to assess the reasons why international banks have considered the African markets not as the opportunity that they once thought it was. So that's a very important situation, but we know the international situation is very complicated for most of them. But the way we need to see it is to see this as a formidable opportunity for public and private sector, African private sector players to build up for the future and to build strong group, to scale up their operations, to improve their efficiency, to create real African global players, so that they are going to be in the future be able to replace international bank to in the role that they usually did, meaning work on trade, financing infrastructure, being here for the financing of governments, of corporations. So this trend has already started. As we know, there are some really strong players. We're going to host the event, of course, in Morocco. They have some of the largest bank in the country, but in all of the we'll have plenty of players from Nigeria. We'll have the Access Bank, First Bank. All of these companies have already started to strengthen their operations and see how they can be bigger continental players. That's the main focus of the discussion. So we definitely are going to see this as an opportunity. I hope also the meeting will be a great opportunity for these various senior executives from the financial industry to get together and get this ongoing conversation that might lead sometimes to a tie-up. I would love to see a Nigerian bank discuss with a Moroccan bank how they can sometimes either get a joint operation, or why not having people create cross-shareholding investments. So that's the most important thing. We need to build big African groups. We need to build groups that will help tackle market fragmentation all over Africa. And that's one of the, for me, one of the most pressing urgency on the financial market. And it's true also, of course, for insurance corporations. We have big groups like Sanlam Alliance that have shown the way, and we need to push for that consolidation.
So what type of participants are expected at this year's AFIS, and how can their expertise contribute to conversations on Africa's financial challenges?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
What types of participants are we expecting, and how are their conversations going to contribute to, the grand goal of understanding African financing sector?
We have created the African Financial Summit as a real public-private platform for dialogue and pushing for people from the public sector. So we'll have around 18 to 20 Minister of Finance. We'll have around 15 central bank governors. And of course, most of the senior executive from the 30 big continental banking groups, and around 200 also executive from the insurance industry. One of the few innovations that we will have this year is that we've had tremendous interest from institutional investors. So they are a very important stakeholder in the ecosystem. So I'm talking about pension funds. They have a lot of money. They're looking to see where they can invest it. And there will be a very important stakeholder in the future because capital collection is keeping on increasing. And we also have more and more CFOs from large corporations that are trying to address their financing issues and how to find partners to improve their trade issues between countries. So we have about 50 to 70 CFOs from top international companies attending also this event.
Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you a lot of luck in AFIS.
Well, before you go,
Thank you.
one question.
Thank you very much.
Single answer.
Yes.
The last time you were in Francophone Africa. This time around, you're also in Francophone Africa. When are you going to bring the African Financial Summit to Nigeria?
Whenever
Why is
you,
Nigeria
I guess
left
this
out?
isn't.
Huh? What
No,
did he say?
actually, we were supposed to go to Nigeria last year. There was some discussions, but then the financing environment was a little bit under, let's say, there was some upheaval in the banking environment following your president's election. So that was not the right timing, but we will be definitely coming to Nigeria in the coming years.
Okay, come to Nigeria soon. This is the best country
Yes.
in Africa.
No,
Thank you very
and
much.
Nigeria is one of the most important financial forces in Africa. You have wonderful financial groups and insurance groups. So definitely that's the place. And you have a financial center or a financial city also project. So that would be a wonderful combination.
Thank you very much, Amir, for joining us on The Morning Show.